Welcome back. Today we're gonna react to NBA offseason so far. We haven't seen a ton of trades really since the draft has ended, but we're gonna react to the signings. We did just literally get a trade about 10 minutes ago before I started recording this. And this is pretty much up until the day before free agency. If I'm correct, I believe real free agency starts tomorrow on Monday, and I'm recording this Sunday, June 29th at 3:30. Um, so yeah, we're gonna react. We're just gonna kind of go through Shams' Twitter. And that's really gonna be it. So, but of course, if you like this stuff, make sure you subscribe. This is where you want to be. If you want to hear about all off-season stuff, make sure you comment what you think, also to like and come back. We've uploaded every day since at least May 27th. We've gone over a month where we've uploaded every single day here, and I don't plan for that to stop. We might miss a day here and there, but we are putting something out, whether it's 2K, whether it's an opinion video, a reaction video, a article, a quiz, whatever. We are doing it all here. But let's get into this. So Shams, this trade just happened. The Utah Jazz, um, and we are going to occasionally be doing, just refreshing to see if any details come out. But the Jazz are trading Colin Sexton and a 2030 second round pick to Charlotte for Yusuf Nurkic. Yusuf Nurkic has a horrible rep around his name right now. He just got traded from Phoenix at the deadline last year, thankfully for them, for Nick Richards. Or actually, I don't know if Nick Richards was a part of that. I don't know if that was the Nick Richards or the Cody Martin, but either way, Colin Sexton's a good player. I would expect him to start. I would assume it would be LaMelo, Colin Sexton, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, and then center to be named. Um, at least as of again right now. Um, but I mean, Colin Sexton's a good player. He's just been kind of rotting it out in Utah since he left Cleveland. Um, I think he's a fiery guard. He's athletic. Um, I think last year, if I had to assume last year, he probably averaged around 16 points a game. Okay, 18 on 40.6% from the three in 63 games. So he's a good player. I mean, he's been a good 3-point shooter. He's been above 37% every year, except for 1 year in Cleveland where he only played 11 games. He's been above 37% free throw or 3-point shooter on at least 4 attempts, basically. So that's a good player. Yusuf Nurkic, I mean, I don't know. I don't I don't have anything really to say about Nurkic. I would assume hopefully he doesn't have a huge contract. No, he's got 19 million and he's an expiring deal. So I'd assume that's why he did it. Colin Sexton, I meant to bring up his, of course. Uh sorry, things run a little slow. Colin Sexton's also an expiring. Um, so it's probably just the Hornets wanting him. So but again, Nurkic last year in 51 games, averaged 9 points, 8 assists, 9 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 47% from the field. Yusuf Nurkic once upon a time was a very good center, and then he broke his leg. And kind of since then, he had a couple good seasons in Portland, but Phoenix he's just not what Phoenix needed. So I don't have anything to say about that. Julius Randle is signing a new $100 million deal with the Timberwolves. Um, I mean, I think Julius Randle was really good this season. He kind of he always had like a playoff dropper around his name. I mean, Julius Randle's a very good player. People forget that he's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time All NBA player. Um, All NBA second team and All NBA third team. He averaged 19, 7, and 5. Um, he's a big body. He's a relatively good defender, I'd say. Um, sure, the 3-point shot is nothing too amazing, but Everything else I'd say is pretty much a plus for Julius Randle. Now I don't know what these numbers exactly are. Um, I wonder if I can bring it up on ESPN real quick. We actually switched over to ESPN because Tim's Twitter is pretty much just like a post. It doesn't really have all the details. Like it would for me to promote ESPN.
Do you want to give it a news? Yes. Me to give it to you.
Tom Sharani, our NBA Julius Randle, a 3-year deal, $100 million deal. That would put it around
a 2029 first
just
round
over 30, I'd say, a year, depending on, whatever the percentage increase is.
Giving up a first round pick in
Miami
2029.
will decline his $20 million
This is the same dude that the Lakers were looking to acquire, and supposedly fell physical. Now, listen, we don't know all the details about that, but here's the bottom line. If you're the Phoenix Suns, one of the reasons you made the deal to move Kevin Durant was to acquire
between that and the Terry Rozier contract.
Why would you give it away for Mark Williams? 4 years from now.
Unless we don't have all the information, but assuming we do,
Kelly,
just in a matter of
I
10
don't have
minutes,
a
added
lot
two
of
centers to the
memory.
roster that
The
play
only
the
thing I
same
kinda
position.
remember is
And look, I like centers. I'm not trying to be critical.
he plays 60 games.
Centers are the most likely players to be played off the floor. We saw Oklahoma City a week ago. They played big all year, and they got to the finals, and they couldn't really.
Minnesota, where Rudy Gobert
So you got to be real careful over evaluating some of these guys. They just added two of them in the last 10 years.
He's going to probably get more towards like mid-level exception money, which I think is like just under $20 million a year.
Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling award-winning vehicles for you right here in America. And we're committed to keeping our lineup affordable
and granted, Kelly would raise
tariffs.
4
That's why
really
we
or
lowered
5,
MSRP on our best-selling Rogue and
they don't have a
Pathfinder.
lot of front 4 as of right now.
So you can get the car you want.
Dorian Finney-Smith declining his $15 million player option and will enter free agency. Finney-Smith's the player that most people to pursue beginning Monday night.
He's got 17 here tonight.
I hope they.
basketball out there. Collins spinning on Monk.
Goodness. Talk about this. This isn't true in Malik Beasley. They were in talks to sign a new 3-year, $42 million contract, but it's on pause. Yeah, hopefully for his sake and the league's sake, this isn't true because we do not need another situation. So LeBron James is exercising his $52 million player option. Some people thought he was going to do, another 1+1 like he's been doing, where he's on the books for this year and he has a player option, kind of what he's been doing. There is, of course, I'm sure everyone has seen the talks of Savannah James saying he would like LeBron to retire, right? Like I think after this season, he would like for LeBron to retire. Who knows? I assume when the LeBron retirement announced, I always assumed that it would come like this is the 2025 season that just wrapped up. I would assume if it was announced in 2027,
the Pacers are 1 of 11 from 3
I would assume it would be like a nationwide, one of the biggest announcements ever. I can't imagine LeBron was going to say, and go into preseason and say, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm retiring this season. I just can't imagine that happening. Maybe he does, but it's kind of like this reality that, everyone assumed, no one ever thought about when LeBron would retire because, everybody, nobody probably remembers the time when LeBron was, unless you are an old head, unless you are a lot, obviously, of course, a lot older than me, but you would need to be at least double my. And I'm about to be 20 in a couple weeks, so you would need to
Subaru and our retailers are there to help by providing blankets for comfort
which I
and
think is the
warmth and
most
encouraging messages of hope
Kareem,
to help
Robert
support nearly
Parrish,
500,000 patients
but,
facing cancer nationwide.
I'm surprised.
Subaru is proud to be the largest automotive donor to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, united for over a decade. Subaru, more than a car company.
To help the team like he was going to do last year for Jonas Valanciunas
Henderson,
or whatever.
Looking to distribute, and he threw it right into the arms of Jalen Williams. The hit ahead and the release from SGA.
$1 million. Not doing much with $8 million.
My goodness.
The first overall piece
Intercept
of this
over the top.
$2.5 million. He hasn't played a Jalen Williams, Big J. Will, not J. Dub, is signing a 3-year, $24 million contract. I think that's probably about $8 million a year, depending on increase or whatever. He's only 23. He averaged 6 points, 5.5 rebounds, nearly 40% season. Yeah, he is like perfect third string.
He's doubled and gives it up.
And I wouldn't even necessarily
Joe to the corner. Jalen Williams fires a three, and it's good with 0.3 of a
I
second
believe
left.
he had multiple. He has 3 in his career. Yeah, and they all came last year. He only played 40. Big J. Well, I know he gets a lot of
26 points in the game.
He gets a lot of memes around his name and anything like that. But he's honest. He's honest.
Look how far he is.
So that was everything for today so far.
Don't underestimate the big man.
The Thunder trading Dylan
It was going to be the longest finger roll I've ever seen. And he changed his mind and threw it off
don't
the
have a
backboard.
big
Oh, come on, J. Will. What are you doing?
opinion on those two players, because if you look at Kobe Jones, who I think
took over as
the
the
Kings, or am I thinking
GM
of someone else? He did play for the
2007.
Kings.
He's only 47 years old.
But he got traded.
He's one of the best
Okay. He averaged 9 points for the Wizards in 15 games.
Swings it.
But he's
in the pass by Westbrook, broken up beautifully by Jalen Williams.
32%
Three. Plays it in with the
while
left
Dylan
hand.
Jones 2 points on 25% three. Honestly, this isn't much of a move to talk about.
Boom, baby.
Garrett Temple, I swear to God, Garrett Temple is at least like 39? How old is he? He is 39. Garrett Temple, he doesn't even play. Why?
There it is.
He literally doesn't play.
All
He
parts
plays,
you need.
He plays
The price you
garbage
love.
minutes.
Guaranteed to fit
minutes per
every
game.
time. eBay. Things people love.
Last season, he played 8 minutes a game in 28
Maybe one of the most
games. And
dominant
season before,
seasons
just under
a team
11
has had
in
in
27
any sport.
games.
Why do you think
6
that is the
minutes in
case? I know that's
25
such like a
games the year
cliche
before
question,
that.
but
He hasn't
actuality,
played real
is
minutes
it because of
since
how close you guys are? Did you
I
know it
really
going
don't
into the
understand why
season?
he's
Like,
still
when did
getting a
you feel
contract
as if this team was going to be historic?
Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, they obviously
Batum
they were the one seed
declining his
last year, even
4.5
before
or
me and
about $5
Hartenstein
million
joined the
option
team.
for the 2020
So like they
season
had a
to become a
great
free agent.
kind of foundation to build on with
I.e.,
just like the
I would
talent they
assume he's
had
either
and
going
like how
back
good the
to
team was. And then
LA
I think
or he's
me and Hart just fit in so well with the roles that we played.
But Batum
And
had
like
some
at the
good
end of the day,
moments.
dude, it comes down like there's
that
just
playoff
a
run
talented
for the
team. Like
Clippers.
we're literally like
He
through
plays
the season we won 68 games,
4 points,
and we
3
played,
rebounds, 43%
you know,
from three.
most nights we played 10 guys. You know, if somebody sat out or our bigs
he
were
plays 17
hurt.
minutes.
We played with no centers and won games. Like all that kind of got overlooked
Okay.
because it's just the season,
But
and you know,
Nicholas
it's
Batum
one
is
game after another, and you're just rolling through
will
it.
be 37
But
by
like
the time
we were dominating teams in
season
the regular
comes
season
around,
and like not
probably.
playing fourth quarters. And I think some of that got swept under the
He's
rug
better than
because
Garrett
of
Temple,
obviously
I'll tell you that.
it is a
Sam
small
Morril
market,
signs a
Oklahoma
4-year,
City. Like
$38
we
million
got
contract.
pushed
So
in the
that's
national
like
TV
$9
games in
million a year,
February because
$10 million a year.
we were so good and nobody expected it, so they had
That's
to
good.
add like
That's
5
like,
to
I
10
think that's
games where
like
we're playing like the
pretty
Cavs and the
similar to what
Celtics and
others see, like Sam Hauser.
in Denver and the Lakers on
I
TV.
think Sam Hauser
It's just
currently is
it's just a testament to
10 mil,
the
10 mil,
organization,
11
and
mil,
then
12
the
mil.
dudes on this
Pretty
team, man.
similar to what Sam
We're good
Hauser got.
players. You know, like that's at the end of the day, that's what it is. A bunch of dogs and really good players.
Going to get a 3-year, $42 million. Malik
Since
Beasley would be making more,
1983,
obviously,
Nissan has been
yearly
assembling
than him,
award-winning
but
vehicles for you.
that's about
here
right
in
for a
America.
shooter like
And we're
that.
committed to keeping our
Davion
lineup
Mitchell
affordable
signs a
and
2-year,
free from new
$24 million
tariffs.
deal.
That's
I
why
think
we've
that's
lowered
good.
MSRP
Davion
on the
Mitchell,
best-selling
one of the
Rogue
smallest
and Pathfinder.
players in the league, but
So you
he's
can
one
get
of
the car
the
you want at the price you
most
want. Knowing
I don't
Nissan's
know how to
for
say
you.
that. He's one of the most
Now
aggravating
get 0%
defenders to
APR
go against.
financing
It
for
says he's
60 months
6'2". I
on the
don't believe that for a
2025
second.
Nissan Rogue or Pathfinder.
But he averaged for Miami, he averaged
Rocco,
10
you were
points
so young,
on
and it feels like for anyone
44%
that's
from
loved
three.
basketball, they've been tracking you
And
to this
he was on
moment
Toronto for the
years.
first part of the
I'm
year.
curious
So
if
he averaged
known
40%
that this week was
last
going to
year.
come
He
at some
was a
point, but what's
very
going through your head right now
pickup
as
for
we
them.
sit here in New
When
York?
your main guard is a guy like
I'd say there's a big mix of emotions.
Golden State
really
Warriors
excited,
offered an $8 million qualifying
definitely
offer
really
to
nervous.
Kuminga.
But for me, it's just I've been dreaming of this moment since since I picked up
Jonathan
the basketball.
Kuminga, I want to.
For me, this is sort of like
if he goes back to Golden State, I'm starting to question
onto being who I want to be.
Really wants
How
to
have you
be,
worked
because
through
like he has been
processing all that? You've been obviously in the US now
completely
for
mistreated,
quite a while and visiting with different teams.
completely mistreated. He's not a good player. He's not a player. He won closing games for him.
Feel too big
Ridiculous.
because I certainly can't imagine.
Now I don't know if Jonathan Kuminga is a $35 million
There's definitely moments I walk into a facility and I'm like,
but
oh wow, like I'm here, and
Jonathan Kuminga,
you see it on Instagram and stuff all the time, but to be there in person is definitely a little big.
If he
I just keep
minutes,
reminding myself like I'm nowhere where I want to be yet, and there's still so much to go. And this is
3-point shot
it's the start,
a thing that you really
that's sort of how I've been
gonna get from Kuminga, but you're gonna get a lot other scoring
into this process now. How much NBA?
They just never used him, and it was so disrespectful.
NBA Finals,
this is one of the real
watched a lot of finals basketball. It was
I really trust his judgment less and less as we keep
then
going in his career.
Just being a fan.
I really hope for Golden State's sake, once Curry is out of there, once Curry retires,
not only might I be on the court with those guys next year,
once Curry retires,
specifically
they get rid of his
potential traits that these guys have in the modern game.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was
year,
lucky enough to see a couple of games in person in Minnesota, and
7 rebounds.
I'm sitting in the stands, and I turn to Mum, and I'm
like, per game, just under a block.
And I see all these things, and it's super physical, and it's super fast, but
for sure,
for me, it's
and then the Chicago Bulls are trading Lonzo to sort of
Isaac Okoro, get out on the floor, and
Lonzo Ball. Obviously, this is
trying to show what I can do as well.
First year that Lonzo Ball,
it probably feels more attainable when you're watching a young team like the Thunder, and I feel like a guy like Chet is the prototype now for.
It sucks that we're not probably going to get what that 35
who are the guys you sort of
Chicago Lonzo was.
As you're watching these games.
Lonzo Ball is one of the best
I think
you can have. And
like you said, Chet Holmgren's great. I think Isaiah Hartenstein being able to
that they are going to lose Ty Jerome in free agency.
I really like
Lonzo Ball's
watching Miles Turner play.
Lonzo Ball,
Rudy
1,
Gobert,
2, 3. I trust him to guard all 3 of those positions. Some 4s, depending on.
For me, those guys like defensive
he could play some minutes with Garland and Mitchell with him as
impressive, and that's sort of what I want.
But him as a backup
build myself
nice.
Him
and Sam Morrell as your backup guard
as well. And
again, you trade Isaac Okoro,
who building into that sort of mold, but.
I don't know. Isaac Okoro is a strange player. What was he, the 5th pick?
The sort of modern.
He was, the 5th.
Well, one day away from the draft. You've been with teams over the last
37% 3-point shooter.
You mentioned that sometimes you look around and you can't imagine that you would be in this building.
37% 3-point shooter.
What are they asking of you?
He's about 19.
They know
this past
what
season.
you can do already. So when you get to these
by like guys like DeAndre Hunter, Max Strus, players like that most of it recently, but
coming in, playing with energy, being loud, being a good teammate, really just
the Bulls have traded
showing off what I can do.
Entire so far
coming away from that, it's
and I'm sure everyone's aware
on my body. And
Bulls have traded Lonzo,
just sort of that
DeRozan,
getting in the gym every day and working hard is sort of what they expect. So I guess I don't think workout time. You put all you got out on the floor and
offered
just put your best
at the trade deadline. I think it was either 1 first-round pick or 2 first-round picks, and I believe one of them was the pick that New Orleans traded away. That
short,
like everyone is
tall.
Like, why would they do that unprotected for next year so they could get Derek Queen?
For old friends.
Bulls declined that.
Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Levine, I mean, they held Levine for so much longer than he should have. Caruso, they definitely could have gotten at least 2 first-round picks for him as now a second-time champion. Bulls have done a horrible job of managing assets, and the fact that those guys are all just over there. I'm sorry, Bulls fans. Naz Reid signs a new 5-year, $125 million deal. I think that's about right, man. Naz Reid, 6th man of the year last season, not this past season. He can really do everything, man. Naz Reid is he's like a shooting guard stuck in a center's body. He averaged 14 and 6 last year, 38% from 3 on 6 attempts.
Grab an ice cold
He's one of the best bench players.
And enjoy summer.
Not the best. So that fits.
as it goes down with LA.
Then I think a lot
who
of
do you
this
have your eyes on there?
was from the
Well, they're going to be aggressive. Rob Pelinka, the general manager, said that
and
after
then
the
this Devin
offseason that they're
Booker,
going to go out
the
and get a
2-year,
center. Two
$150
players
million
today,
deal.
LeBron James and Dorian
And then
Finney-Smith,
Austin
have
Reeves
player
turned
options.
down
So
a $90 million
pay attention to that. I
extension.
would expect LeBron, of course, to
Lakers,
opt into that
you
contract.
guys
Here's what they
better
have.
hope
They've
he
got the
works out
$5.7
a new
million
deal, because
tax
next year, if he
mid-level
can get a
exception, this is
$200
for free
million,
agency. They go out and get a center.
I'm not signing
If they
Austin Reeves
can't
to
do
that.
that,
I don't give a
they're
damn
going to
how much he
explore the
means to
trade
LA.
market. They've
Austin
got
Reeves is
$60
not a
million
$200
in
million
expiring
player.
contracts with Rui Hachimura, Maxi
You
Kleber,
would
and
hope
Gabe
you
Vincent.
could get him
They've
for
got
what he
one
got.
first-round pick.
I wouldn't give him any more than what Nas Reeves given.
2032. And they have that one young prospect in Dalton Connect. So
there are some players that
the
they
Lakers
just get
explore the free
contracts
agency
based on the
market, let
name
them
or
do
the
some bargain
potential, and I'm
shopping,
not.
and also
If I was a
to be
GM, that's
active
not
in
how I would
trades.
run things. There are a few contracts in my mind that it's like,
since 1983,
you're a great
Nissan
player,
has been
but
assembling
you do not
award-winning
like
vehicles for you.
the fact
right
that
here
Franz
in
Wagner
America.
got a
And we're
$240
committed to
million
keeping our
deal a
lineup
couple years
affordable
ago.
and
He
free
hasn't
from
done
new
a damn thing
tariffs.
to deserve
That's why
it.
we've
That's
lowered
one of those
MSRP
deals.
on our best-selling Rogue
This
and
Reeves thing might be
Pathfinder.
one of those deals.
So you can get the car you want at the
I don't
price
know,
you
man.
want.
If you
Knowing
haven't made an
Nissan is
all-star
for
team
you.
and you're asking for $200
Now get
million,
0% APR financing for
I'm not
60
even going to
months
think
on the
about it.
2025
I'm not even going to think
Nissan
about it
Rogue
unless
or
you are a
Pathfinder.
top 3 pick. You project to be like
What move,
Tallow or
Shams, is still sitting out
something
there
like
for the
you are
Lakers
a
to make?
top 3 pick like
It's
that.
clear their biggest need
But
is that center. Rob
there's very
Pelinka
few
has
cases where I
spoken
would give
about
out
it
a
ad
contract
nauseum
like that.
that they need to find that.
And
Will that
Austin
be
Reeves is
in the
not
draft?
one of
Will
those
that be
players
in free
whatsoever.
agency? 1,000%. That's a good question. The other thing is the
But yeah,
Dorian Finney-Smith of it all.
that
He's
pretty
got a
much
player
wraps it
option.
up, I believe,
He
because
opts
again,
in.
we're
Does he
getting into
find
the
another
draft
suitor
stuff, and we
elsewhere in
talked
free
about the
agency? So
draft
figuring out his free
trades
agency,
already.
but
But
then also the biggest thing there is the center.
if you like
And there's
this,
names
make
like
sure you
Brook Lopez.
subscribe.
There's
Thank you for
Capella,
watching.
Al
Make sure you
Horford
come
out there in
back.
free agency. Will it be that route or will it be the trade route? That's what everyone in LA, everyone in the league
I'm
is waiting
so
on.
excited to see
Probably
what
watch the
free
fit as
agency
far as
does.
you're
I hope we didn't
concerned.
get all our big deals out the way already, like
the
Durant,
between
Bane,
Dallas and the Lakers
Drew,
right
and
now, kind of
Porzingis,
like where
all those
Dallas
deals. I hope
is,
those aren't
because
the
the
big ones, and
unknown
we
of
just
where
get
the
nothing
Lakers
else
could be
big.
here. They've got a ton
Because
of
that's what I
expiring
always worry
contracts,
with.
$60 million
But
in expiring contract. They've got one first-round pick.
I don't know.
Rob Pelinka showed his hand at the
We'll
trade
see.
deadline.
Hopefully,
He showed
there's
what he was willing to trade
get
and a pick
traded.
swap of unprotected first. Mark
Celtics
Williams, who
say
was
they
traded
look
last
to
night to
reflip
Phoenix from
Anthony
Charlotte.
Simon.
They
I
have
don't
the
know how I feel
assets to
about
go out and
that,
try to
but
get a center, but it's the question is who's that player
there,
going to be?
there's still things that could happen. But thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe and remember to enjoy basketball.